I'm Colin.
I'm David.
And I'm Bradley.
And this is Overarching.
No, but really, guys.
What's funny?
But really,
Wait, hold on. No, what's funny?
No. We have a lot of fun here on Overarching. Oh, I did it again. That's not what that's for.
Actually, this couch kind of smells pretty good. Weirdly,
It came from someone's grandma's basement
next to your butt. It's kind of weird.
Speaking of overarching,
speaking of coming from someone's grandma's basement,
this is Overarching, guys. A podcast,
a very serious podcast,
very serious podcast about St. Louis by St. Louis.
Sponsored by First Bank, a very serious first bank.
Yeah, a very first serious bank.
And we will talk about John, the most serious lender,
most serious
shortly,
Charlton,
a little bit later. Probably not the most serious Charlton. He's pretty laid back.
I mean, have you met Charlton Heston?
That guy's a joker.
He's dead.
True.
Let's say the pledge.
John's not. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to Gregory FX Daily, the one to whom we owe it all, and to our taxes, which we prefer to be spent on 010110011000110100011000001, and that spells data. But you probably already knew that, because the internet is mostly robots now anyway. And to you I say, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep. Please don't kill me in my sleep. Speaking of being harvested, where do we put all this? Like these words, and this vertical video clip, and this podcast episode located on all streaming platforms and youtube.com/overarchingstl. Please like and subscribe. And your vertical video clips, and your podcasts. All that has been and is yet to be. Where is all this? And this? And this? All of this. 1% to the god of yellow envelopes ignored by all. We don't have any more analog listeners anyway.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's all bots playing bots, spending bots, bots pretending to be bots.
Yeah.
Playing bots.
If you
pretending to be another bot.
If you consider in-person shows analog.
Are those people real that attend our live shows?
I consider.
Ooh, are we real?
Speaking of
Is this
analog,
all a
I
simulation?
consider
Are we in a simulation stored inside of a building?
I think
in a former rock show venue.
I think a celery stick with cream cheese on it, but a single raisin is what I call analog.
Bradley doesn't have any children, so how is that a dad joke?
It's just
a joke.
It's just a bad joke.
When you don't have kids, dad jokes are bad jokes.
Dunked.
Yikes.
Did we just come up with something? The first people to ever say that?
Yes,
are
we are the first people to ever say
originators
that.
of
TM,
dad
TM.
jokes being bad jokes? If you don't have,
Don't sit on it for too long. It'll get stale.
the kid
Yeah.
as a dad, sit on. Never mind.
Yeah. That's a crime. The St. Charles.
St. Charles.
Most progressive city in the country. Pew, 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 pew. St. Charles.
That took a lot more effort to stand up than it should have.
Oh, say can you woke? St. Charles is woke.
St. Charles is so woke.
It's no longer sleeping.
Yeah.
Sheeping.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
St. Charles.
you crap. I think we all kind of actually do love St. Charles.
Nope.
Specifically one spot. Like a 10-block.
And for you,
corridor.
it's the Gimme Golf Club.
And for me, it is the 4 or 5 blocks to the west on Clark Street.
Is Gimme Golf Club located in the walkable area?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sick. Cool.
We're at the corner of Clark and 5th.
Mm. I know where that is.
You do. It's
Fifth
where
is a low number, so I'm going to assume it's close to downtown.
Main Street is
Oh,
first technically, right?
Fifth is the
Actually,
next
it might
big
be
street,
second.
right?
It might be second. I could be wrong.
No,
but
Main
then
is.
I think it might be second. Somebody needs to say if I'm wrong. It's either first or second. But then if you go west, northwest just a hair, you get to Fifth Street, obviously.
Fun fact.
St. Charles, where the other foundry is.
Fun fact. You know what the most
Correct.
popular street name in the country is?
Second Street.
Second Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, because first is almost always Main Street or something.
But
else.
about half
right.
the time.
Yeah, or it's like
Or enough
Washington
times.
Street, or Horrifying Man Street. Usually.
Yeah. Fact check. We've got Riverside, then Main, then Second.
Okay, so it is
So Riverside used to be 0th Street.
0th.
Yeah,
Riverside used to just be the river
there you go.
bank.
Yeah,
And they're like, let's pave the river bank.
How is there also a water street?
Pave river bank, put up a parking lot.
there you go.
Isn't that just a canal?
St. Charles? St. Charles.
Yes.
There was gonna be a data center that was gonna go up, like across the street from
A cul-de-sac.
Like
a
Newtown.
cul-de-sac.
Like close to Newtown.
And the people said, we're going to do collective action, but that's not socialism, guys. We're going to do collective action together. We're going to get together and we're going to say.
But it's not community organizing.
But it's not community organizing. It's not woke. We're going to get together and be like, we don't want this corporate entity coming into our neighborhood and disrupting our utilities, which are. We're not going to get together and do it's not socialism, but we're going to succeed, and they did.
Yeah.
For now.
For now,
For 1 year.
which I didn't realize until David brought it up this morning while we were talking. David, so here's the zeitgeist.
What's the headline?
Right?
What's the
here's the
headline?
headline. St. Charles bans data centers.
Woo!
That's what everybody's talking about. That's what the country's talking about. St. Charles, the first city in the country to ban data centers.
Real Americans said, AI, go away.
Yeah. Go die.
That's what those commercials were about in the mid 2000s. Real man of genius. We voted to ban data centers.
But yeah, that's the headline is that why data centers bad because take up too much water and energy and not create enough jobs.
And taking up energy, meaning making my energy less
up.
good. Well, and also like making my energy dirty.
At least that's what the left wants you to think.
That's what the explainer video on YouTube told me.
That's what the AI generated thing on Google just told me too.
The
So,
irony.
What is the reality of this situation, David?
The reality of the situation, the city voted to delay any building or working on getting a data center in the county. I think it's not the county. I think it is the city limits of St. Charles.
Is
I need to
Newtown
double-check.
in St. Charles or is it its own thing?
It is technically in St. Charles. It is kind of its own thing as well. It's a hat on a hat. Yeah.
It's a hat on a golf cart.
It's a Truman Show duplicate.
Oh yeah, it is in the city limits.
It is actually literally a Truman Show duplicate. The people that developed Seaside in Florida.
Florida?
Where,
Yeah, that makes sense. Having
where,
seen
like,
Seaside
developed this, where Truman Show was shot.
Yeah. So
Matt Gates actually lived in the Truman Show house in Seaside. Fun
Fun-
fact.
that's a ding for Matt Gates.
That's a real truth. That's a fact. That's
Fun-
a real thing.
Yeah,
Isn't
so
that
it
crazy?
used to. It's still pretty isolated. It used to be like super isolated, and then
Still is.
And there's a little bit of development like around it. Like you look at the map, it doesn't look as like this tiny little pocket. But the funny thing is, looking at the city line of St. Charles
It's
City,
not like right next to Newtown. by
there
the way,
there are
the data center.
some carve outs. Newtown is in the city of St. Charles.
Yes.
But nearby Newtown, the National Cart Co.
Yes.
is one rectangular carve out that is not in the city of St. Charles.
Like golf carts,
Yeah.
which of course that's in Newtown.
But it's funny that it's not in St. Charles. Oh no, it's not
Anyways,
golf carts.
the-
Yeah,
it's
the
industrial
data
carts.
center was going to be built on Truman Boulevard and
The irony.
or it's actually built on spanning both sides of Highway 370 between Huster Road and Truman Boulevard, according to the AI overview.
Go Dogs. Truman Boulevard.
Known as Project Cumulus. Well, this is what I always said. The Truman Show, that was what was missing, was a data center.
Yeah, well, it really was just one giant data center if you think about it.
Well, that's why he found out.
So
Spoiler.
what has happened is, and I'm going to take kind of a realistic or cynical approach, maybe.
Hot take.
Is they are delaying the inevitable. This data center is going to be built. Did you just wink?
No,
did I?
You just did it again.
Okay, I do have a twitch every once in a while.
Oh,
that
I'm
is
sorry.
real,
that was ableist of me.
that is a thing that I have.
Oh, you literally. But I just want you to see. You went. The data center is gonna be built.
Oh, I did.
It was great timing.
Oh, it will be built. The powers that be are gonna do what they want, and the those on city council, of whom I know a couple, they really just kind of push this by the wayside to give them more time to figure out a way around not really needing your approval
To
as
design
the everyday plebeian that you are.
Design an even bigger data center.
Not bigger, just get around some laws in place. More importantly, I want to say, from both sides of yes, we want it, no, we do not, there is just gigantic disinformation coming from both sides about development of data centers. In this particular one, this data center, where it was going to be built, how it's going to be used, should not have been built, in my opinion. The way that St. Charles uses their water supply and their water system, over half of what they use, the city of St. Charles, is not like self-made. They use St. Louis County and city of St. Louis water and like pull it. They buy it from an external source.
I thought St. Charles would be better off without St. Louis.
You would you would think Steve Ellman, who always talks about how we don't want those people coming over here. That's a tritone.
Tritone's only 2 notes.
But it was 3 notes. Anyways.
Yeah.
I understand. You would think that he wouldn't do that. Well, it's so funny. That data center is going to the current electrical grid that's in place and the current water supply in that place would really overwhelm that area.
Sure.
And they need to, in a few years, they might have the electric grid capacity and water grid capacity to support that without
ruining the lives of regular everyday people,
hurting the lives of everyday people, and tarnishing the water supply, emissions, etc. Using renewable energy more through solar, geothermal, what have you. There's ways to do it, but they're delaying it just like a year or so, where it's not going to have enough time for technology to catch up with the ability for that to be self-sustaining and useful, where it's not going to harm constituents around it.
But David, I'm bored.
Yep.
Like, what is the political fight going to look like in this? Because it ain't going to be that.
What do you mean?
Like,
so we're saying
the discord. We do not live in a time, unfortunately.
Yeah, time is relevant,
and especially because this is like St. Charles has the distinct honor and curse of being first. So I anticipate that everything that has to do with this data center is going to be big news. And
certainly,
like, what's going to happen is every time it gets brought up, there's going to be some huge disinformation cycle about it. And we're never going to get to have a nuanced conversation about data centers in the region.
Right.
Which potentially brings us to our own little problem.
Sure. Before we hit that, just like I want to just cap on the 1 year moratorium.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the idea that, hey, the common everyday man won some big fight, we got it canceled. We said, St. Charles said, we're going to inflict cancel culture on this data center. And
we're going to perform our own Kimmel.
So, but cancel.
He's back.
He's back today.
Unless the rapture happens, which is scheduled for today.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
The Rapture's scheduled for today.
Who's what?
Some
it's a TikTok thing,
some
David.
South
Don't worry about it.
African like pastor dude said it and it went viral on TikTok, and now the Rapture's happening today.
Maybe this is a simulation then, if it's happened already today.
At some point.
He says you neither know the time nor place. That's what it says in the Bible. Not day.
Wait,
hold on.
Time nor place. So he's like, it is happening today. You gotta guess if you're gonna be like. It's like, are you at the correct coordinates?
Like, hold on. I'm 259. Well, you're a sinner.
You're still here and not naked
Can't guess
in heaven.
the time. I just told you a date.
He did also
I'm not
say,
a sinner.
I love not to get on about the rapture, but he also it's the leave your clothes behind, like left behind type rapture, which I love.
Phenomenal.
I think that's very funny.
Yeah.
So,
data centers.
we got the data center canceled, but it's just a 1-year moratorium. So for
like Louis C.K.
So
Aziz Ansari.
For the opponents of a data center going in whatsoever, like, what's their expectation of what's going to happen a year from now? Are the data center people just going to say, like, well, we tried there, stop trying? Or, and I think, David, you were kind of saying this, but we're just like adding some clarity on it, is that the current process it takes to get a data center built, or lack of a process, where we're going to get to in St. Louis, the idea is that, like, in this intervening year moratorium, that the powers that be are going to be working behind the scenes so that once that moratorium's up, they've basically carved their own path to getting it done without public input. That's the horror. That's the cynical look at this 1-year moratorium.
Certainly, yeah.
So, feel good about that.
You can feel good about it.
I mean, do you? Yeah. I guess. Like, do you? So, do you think? Do you view the 1-year moratorium as a success, or I guess you said it's a delay of the inevitable?
I do see it as a success. I would rather see it as a 2-year, because technology, as we will get to later when we talk about our own data center problems here in the city limits of St. Louis, data centers really are about delaying the inevitable, and how technology will eventually, as we see it, catch up to a place where we really need it to catch up to.
Or we hope. I mean,
or we hope, right?
But let's
and it's not going to take 1 year. It's going to take 5 to 10 minimum, really.
Well, so then
we're just guessing.
Yeah, but let's
get minimum.
Let's get to our wild conjecture about the future of technology a little bit later. Stay tuned. Right now, let's chat about the fact that St. Louis just had its own brush with a potential data center here in the city limits, and also a proposed 1-year moratorium that's kind of gotten swept away. Colin, do you want to give us the summary on that story?
Yeah. So remember, back in the day, before we were all born, in the 70s, when you used to go see Led Zeppelin at the Armory, and then in our day,
I recall.
You look great for your age. And then back in the day, like last year and the year before, when we could go see some cover band at the Armory
while playing cornhole,
while playing cornhole in a room with no acoustic treatment,
and pay $18 for a cocktail that is just sugar and juice.
And then also,
you can't get sugar juice everywhere, David.
Park for
to be fair, juice is just sugar water.
It is, but it's natural sugar.
Sure, it is.
It's
not.
Yes, David, it is.
Well, it's acetaminophen. It's acids. Aceta. How do you say that? Anyway,
No.
It also to park in the most expensive parking lot for free in the city. Don't get me started on that parking lot. How are you gonna put a parking lot that big right next to the second busiest metro platform in the city and not build a sidewalk to it?
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're gonna put a data center in the Armory. They want to.
Not only will they put a data
and
center,
over that parking lot,
and they are going to build one over that parking lot.
Yeah.
Wait, but if they're going to build a data center on the parking lot, where are all the employees of the data center going to park?
Well, let me tell you something about data centers, honey. ain't no employees there. Well, there's a few. But
My
like,
father says it's going to be a, quote, lights off data center.
And who's your dad? Who's your daddy?
The former co-head of the data center of Monsanto.
Oh, so what does he know?
Don't come at me about Monsanto. I'm aware. All right.
Well, I mean, horrifying company doing horrifying things. It's pretty much what a data center does.
One, there's a lot of disinformation.
I know.
A lot of disinformation about Monsanto. 2, I will not defend Monsanto. 3, I will defend my dad till the end of the earth. 4, I never worked there. Don't come at me. All right. For some reason, I'll bring up my dad working at Monsanto. People immediately like get mad at me for that for some reason, and like there is like maybe 1 or 2 things that has been proven about Monsanto and like Roundup in particular that was really truly actually shady.
Yeah, they did that Agent Orange stuff. They did do that.
And like I'm aware of that. Everything else that my dad
But
and,
you know what? That
his
didn't have
team
anything to do with the data center.
And all the other like pieces of biotech and agri-tech firms, like pretty good and useful things. But everybody ignores that.
I think you just got a deposit from Monsanto. It looks like a bear.
Hold on. They just donated to my super PAC. Okay.
Ugh, what a look.
Don't worry. I'm an independent.
The way I'm an independent.
Don't worry. Let me put on my monocle. I'm an independent. Although all of my money comes from the veiled profit.
There you go. Oh God, no! Beep it. The data center is contentious here. Our Ameren bills all just went up.
Yeah,
that sucks. Everybody's up in arms about that.
17 to 20%.
When is the Pitchfork and Torches Day at Ameren?
Oh yeah.
Like, because everyone's mad. Like, I know this is not on time, but like, if everyone's so mad, why not show up and yell a lot?
I think the event's called Tridents and Spears, Spread No Fear.
There you go.
That's what it's
Anyway,
called.
well, send me the Google invite. I'll be there. Continue.
Google invite?
And
This isn't
power usage, obviously a big thing with data centers. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what's happening right now is 2 things. There's going to be the conditional use hearing for the data center, and also the mayor just released an executive order about land usage, essentially, which I personally find to be the biggest problem with this here in the city limits.
Yeah,
well,
basically,
let's do that first.
Basically, what happened there is data center, scary. Everyone's like, data center, scary. And they're like, hey, remember what our neighbors in St. Charles did? They yelled a lot and got a 1-year moratorium.
And Bernie Sanders told them, "Good job."
Yeah, and so we're like, you know, a lot of older people in St. Louis are like, hey, let's draft together one of these 1-year moratoriums. People seem to like that. But then Kara Spencer said, hey, we want to be good for business in St. Louis, so like, let's not be too hasty with this 1-year moratorium. And did say like, hey, one of the problems we have with data centers is that like because data centers are such a new thing and new idea, we don't have
these data centers.
What?
These specific data centers.
Yes. Yeah. Is like we don't have. There's no specific targeted zoning or regulation around usage for data centers. Like in one of the I think it was the St. Louis Mag article about this where they were saying like, you know, there's like 8 data centers in like downtown West.
There already are.
And a lot of them are zoned as warehouses.
Yeah, as I say, they're zoned as just light industrial.
Right. So there's, you know, which is like, that means that they're not regulated or taxed or whatever in the way that they probably should be. So like this executive order from the mayor's office, like, does seem like a balanced, smart move for, you know, giving everyone a little bit of what they want of, hey, we're going to say, you got to answer some questions and, you know, jump through a couple hoops first.
And we've had, like, just to hit on a point earlier, we've had data centers in downtown West St. Louis for decades, like since Southwestern Bell was headquartered downtown.
But you're hitting on a point here where it's like data centers like the neutrality ones downtown And to be fair, I know close to nothing about these, but what I do know is since the proliferation of AI, we have been needing to use more data. And by more, exponentially more. The amount of data between now and 2027 is supposed to double, and then again by 2030, worldwide.
Not just double, like quintuple.
And we were talking to your dad before the podcast, and we were talking about like how AI as a technology kind of came out before storage was able to handle such things. And it's the storage part of it, I'm assuming, is going to get better over time, which like hope the quantum computing, whatever, like would revolutionize that and make these data centers either much more efficient where they're already built, or
producing less heat,
or obsolete.
Fiber was being advertised in the late 70s.
Yeah.
To lots and lots and lots of people in the in the tech world, and even like the agri-tech world where he was. I know very, 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 very little about data centers, but the conversations that my dad has had and the several times we've talked about what he does and visiting him in his data centers, the last decade, he's been out of the business for almost a decade. He's been retired. But the technology that has arose in the past decade, he even admits now he would get made fun of by these people in the world being like, you don't know about this?
Yeah, these 19-year-olds that are running the tech sector now. Your dad was talking about how in his 35 years working in a data center that he couldn't imagine what he stopped working with when he retired, he couldn't have imagined at the beginning.
Right. Well, he only worked in the data center for about 20 of those years. Still.
Sure.
That's it.
I mean, like when you were sitting on dial-up at your parents' house, you know, like on AIM Instant Messenger in 1999, like, could you have imagined having one of these in your? I mean, like the technology curve is crazy. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't want to seem like an apologist for data centers because as of right now, they are kind of a blight. The AI one, like the data centers, as far as their needs are concerned, they do take up a crazy amount of power. Almost, it's in cooling, right? Your dad was talking about
lots of cooling, and so they are all to paint an overarching picture. They are all consuming right now, and you know, you look back to the pictures from the 1969 NASA launch of, what was that, Apollo 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you see,
if you believe in all that,
you see their like 56 megabyte computational system that is half the size of this room, right? Yeah. And that's from 1969. And then 2 decades later, so 20 years later, that same amount is like this small.
Yeah.
You know,
and
like
now it's
50,
like
and now it's
the size of a
that,
PDF
like
document.
That size, you can probably fit like 5 to 10 terabytes.
Yeah, you're saying like running
like
a moon rocket off a Game Boy would be overkill.
Yeah, yeah, it would be overkill.
Yeah, I mean, I have a solid state hard drive sitting here on my desk. That's
but
2
like
terabytes,
that,
and that's old.
To talk about like that kind of storage, like right now, going from like that is from us here with our current solid state, even though a lot of these systems are still running off like file drives and not solid state drives because it's cheaper, because solid state is actually quite more expensive. Like getting from here to quantum computing with AI storage data centers is at least 20 years off.
So then why?
Because it would still be like hyper expensive. It would be elite, like so pricey. Overarching, as always, is brought to you by First Bank. Bradley, St. Louis's most bank. Not only are they the first bank, they're St. Louis's largest local bank, actually. Specifically, we're sponsored by John Charlton. Thank you, Colin, a lender with the First Bank mortgage team. If you or a loved one has ever been affected by house and need to talk to a professional about money for a house, John Charlton will be your house money man. John is even my personal house money man. That's right. And I trust him with all of my house money needs. Thank you, John Charlton. Thank you, First Bank Mortgage, for sponsoring the show.
You think I could do like a sign flip thing with this? Like a.
Jesus. Oh, God.
So here's like on opinions on stuff, like I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I think we kind of all have a general agreement that the idea of data centers aren't just inevitable because large business corporate overlords are going to do whatever the hell they want regardless of what the people want, and that is the reality of the world we live in, but also inevitable because like the things we do in modern world technology, like this is kind of the direction things are going. And so, like, we are going to need, this storage, this all this, the like your dad was saying, like, everyone's got a whole lot of pictures of their babies on Facebook, and those gotta be like those are somewhere.
Now they're becoming larger files because they're taking pictures with their iPhone 17s, where the file data is like a gig per amazing picture,
right?
Sure.
And
in
so
portrait
mode.
The
three of us are kind of in a general agreement that, like, hey, like we're not wholesale against the existence of data centers, but we are like dubious about like the current state of energy usage, and this is not just like the electricity to run the computers, the electricity to cool the computers, the water usage to cool the computers if you're running that type of system, but also, and your dad brought a really good point that I didn't think of, is these data centers, if there's a power outage, they got to keep running. So like whatever like massive energy draw they have, even if the electrical grid is, set up to sustain that, power goes out, they got generators on site to reduplicate all that power. So you're going to have like some big noisy spewing generator right next door to where you live if the power goes out. And that's, that's a thing to be aware of. My thoughts here, and I think our thoughts are like, hey, like, let's think about where we put these. And we'll get to that in a second, because I think that's the big issue with this current one.
We all agree that.
But
with that,
beyond that, like, why can't our response to these data centers, especially ones like this is, multi-billion-dollar companies saying, hey, we want to, spend money and set this up. Like, why can't we tell them, great, we'd love to have you in a certain spot, but also we have concerns about local resource usage, and why can't we just put the onus on them, like, any electricity you need, you got to generate?
So the issue with
crippling regulations,
the issue with this particular data center in St. Louis is the location.
Yeah.
And, data centers be inevitable. Whatever. That is a different fight that I don't think collective action is going to solve, because they're going to do what they want to do.
Right.
Also, I do hear and understand the concerns of, like, since data centers are inevitable, probably.
Why not get your money while you can?
Correct. Like, money now is better than money later.
Or money now is better than money somewhere else later.
Right. Yeah, even worse. And to be frank, looks like... No, I'm Colin, but to be frank for a minute...
that's a very funny joke you just told.
Can I still be Garth?
No. It looks like this data center is being purchased by... Or not purchased, being built by a local developer from Creve Corps. By Rod Thomas, not Rob Thomas. Of TriStar Properties.
Rob Thomas in this town, baby. That's my assistant captain, dog.
Rob Thomas?
Yeah, Robert Thomas.
From Train?
I thought it was Matchbox 20.
It's Matchbox
20. You're right.
I was in a band. I don't
Drops
need to know
Jupiter
who bands
in
are.
my Matchbox car. Hey,
That's Train.
Yeah.
That's Train.
I know.
Yeah. Matchbox 19.
That's
okay.
I was doing a bit.
Oh.
Did you know I was doing a bit?
Was that humor?
Did you know? So
Humor.
do you know what? Hold on. It's gonna blow people's mind. Do you know what bits are?
pieces of data. Yes.
So I guess mine was a megabit because it was really good.
Was that 1,000 bits?
Did you know if your name, if you're doing a bit
actually.
and you're you were born from like the years 1980 to 1990, it was like a terabit?
Cool.
Because
Are you trying to say
that was quite a common name?
Oh, I thought you were saying it's a terrible bit.
It's terrible. Anyway, the Armory, being this historic building, why am I going to put a data center there, man? That's basically what the executive order said, and what we're talking about with their conditional use.
Yeah.
What is a conditional use permit?
Right, because don't you have like zoning, and you can say like you either can or can't put something there, and if it's in the zone, you're good. If it's out of the zone, you're bad, and that's kind of the way and that's it. That's the end of the story.
That's part of it, Bradley. But
I'm trying to set you up.
The conditional use is what businesses have to clear if they want to be in a neighborhood. I don't know if it's ubiquitous all across St. Louis. I don't even know if it's ubiquitous everywhere, but I know that most businesses have to get conditional use, which literally just means we have conditions. The city has conditions that we want to set down for you to use the space.
Right. If you want to do such and such a business, then you have to have trash cans outside.
Right.
You have to have so many parking spots.
Yes.
Based on what the use
Right.
of your
And,
business plan is.
Like for parking spaces, for instance, that's what all the parking minimum stuff is about.
Right.
Like the zoning has a parking minimum already in it.
Yeah.
And then the conditional use hearing plus, a variance for that sort of thing is your opportunity to be like, yo, this doesn't work for me.
Well, and like the conditional use too, it's a subset of zoning. Like if the zone is light industrial, not all light industrial purposes are built the same. A warehouse is a subset, but a other light industrial example is another subset, which is a different.
Well, I'll give you this example. Like imagine you have two
dragons.
Imagine you have two companies wanting to build two warehouses.
Yeah.
In the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And one is going to store sand and
Yeah.
the other one's going to store fireworks.
Yeah.
You have a conditional use hearing, which happens, I think, every other Thursday here, and they're all public. You can just go on Zoom and watch them. They're riveting, let me tell you. But the two companies would go, and they'd go in front of the committee, and the sand warehouse
Yeah.
probably would have nobody speaking in opposition to it.
Yeah.
Because it's freaking sand, man. Who cares?
Yeah.
The
It's
fireworks.
freaking Sandman.
If you were living in the neighborhood and you're like, I don't want a fireworks warehouse right next to my freaking house.
Yeah.
Like, you could go to the conditional use hearing and say that.
Yeah.
And say, hey, this is like a detriment to my house and well-being and land value and all the things. Like, don't do it.
Yeah. My kids are pieces of shit. They're gonna break into the fireworks warehouse and steal some and scare my cats.
And try to ride it like a broom in Harry Potter. And succeed in doing so.
Briefly.
For one glorious moment. But the city does listen to those things. Like
Yeah.
the input from the community really matters, especially when it is vociferous and numerous.
Yeah.
I was just in a pretty contentious conditional use hearing, which I was part of the vociferous and numerous opposition to a thing. And you know what? It works.
Yeah.
So this conditional use hearing for this data center at the Armory, and we won't know the outcome for a couple weeks. So hopefully this episode will be out by then and you don't know what the outcome is while you're listening to this.
Yeah. Call in and tell us what the outcome is.
Yeah. And this is the conditional use hearing, boring as it might sound, going on the city website, clicking on the Zoom link and going and being part of it and voicing your opposition to this thing
Yeah.
is one of the only chances we get as single people, unelected single people, to go and do a democracy.
Yeah.
Like to do a direct action of like, hey, I don't want this thing in my space.
Yeah.
Here's why. Please don't.
Yeah. And this one specifically, like we've said over and over, it's like, you said like this is like right next door to the second most used
metro platform in the
and it's like, and we've already like nearby that area, you know, you've got the Foundry, you got up, you know, down.
Not to mention just on transit statistics. Not only that, it's also like if you're counting upstairs in the bus stop, is the I think the most used bus stop on the system on the most used bus line in the region.
Right. And so like imagine a world where like where you have like the steel coat lofts and the Target underneath it, and you've got, you know, the Foundry over here. Like that area around there is like so ripe and already has the momentum for like mixed use, like the kind of infill city living. Like I've got a cool apartment with amenities and like, you know, and like just like the things you want in a neighborhood around you would be there, and then you could also hop on a train or a bus and go anywhere else in the city. Like, why not build a world where you can be somewhere cool and get to places all on your two own feet and the infrastructure around you versus, you know, building a big chunk of nothing. And
well, let's talk. I was
gonna say another like to that point, like, you know, John Lemon was saying like, it's not like electricity where like the where the data center is compared to where your server, where your personal computing is, like the distance doesn't really matter. You know, it can go in a field somewhere.
Two things. One, and maybe this is a myopic, simplistic view, and it probably is. But like, if you were planning, like anything that needs a lot of resources. For a use of humankind, you wouldn't put a chicken farm in the middle of downtown,
right?
So, like, why would you put a data center like this on a prime use of land? You know, like those data centers are downtown. I do think there are better uses for those buildings, and hopefully one day there will be. However, number two, let's talk to the tech bros for a second. One of the reasons. There's quite a few. I don't think we were ever really considered in the running. But one of the reasons that Amazon didn't put their HQ2, whatever it was, in St. Louis, like, and we got far enough along in their process of whatever, where they actually gave a reason, was not enough access to public transportation.
Yeah.
In the North City area where they were going to build. And it's like, this spot in St. Louis, for all of St. Louis's flaws with public transportation, is one of the most connected spots in the freaking region.
So you're saying we have proven data, no pun intended, that businesses, large employers who want to set up places to employ people and make jobs happen, a way to attract them is to have a useful, robust public transportation network and not just about the TIF they get?
Yeah, but like, personal cars are freedom, baby.
And that's another story.
Anyway, but the people yelling in the comments at people like us who are sitting here poo-pooing the data center idea. The other side's myopic view of this is like, how dare you, St. Louis? You are a dying city. How dare you spurn any development that would be so gracious as to want to give you its benefits inside your city limits? How dare you?
It's a $600 million permit that they...
And construction jobs.
Construction jobs.
Shovel ready.
Yeah.
But that's not even what they're talking about. They're talking about, like, how dare you want to turn away a business? There are... No businesses want to be in St. Louis.
Hey, you're kind of ugly and damaged goods, so like you should be happy that I'm hitting on you.
That's exactly it, actually. It's so funny. So, but like motions to all the development happening. David, yes, David.
I gotta pee. No, just kidding.
You already did that.
Do you have any hand sanitizer?
Can I get the hall pass?
Yeah.
Let's take a step back for a second. Why did we get to this point in the first place with the armory?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So
Okay.
like friggin'
Why do we even have to why do we even have to consider this in the first place?
like oh my god, I'm so in
Is it-
debt. I'm so screwed right now, guys. I
It
need
could be
money.
that. It could be that. Is it the fact that it's just like an infill lot and it's been that way for quite some time and nobody's tried to do anything with it, but this is like good money that we could use in the meantime, kind of?
Nope.
No. It's a few people at Green Street Development.
Of whom I was just doing an impression of.
Yes, I know. It's not everybody at Green Street. I actually know some people at Green Street that are awesome and try to do good work in St. Louis. There are, contrary to what you think, it's not. There can be a few bad eggs that ruin a whole thing.
Are you saying it's a systemic issue?
Just over this? Are we talking about the St. Louis
We're still talking about
Metropolitan
Green
Police Department?
Yeah.
It is truly.
Gasab.
It is a few bad C-suite and investor pieces of human garbage that do not know how to develop anything through a seemingly budget-friendly idea. They truly hit a wall because of COVID in developing the armory. COVID ruined everything that they wanted to do. They were like, well, let's half-ass the armory and build it out and see if we can make it kind of work in the meantime, instead of actually putting the 14-story apartment complex right next to it,
Right.
and even another 14-story apartment complex that would burgeon the
Let's see if people will pay full price for the beta and we'll sell them the DLC later.
and,
Well,
and
also-
it would create density, and it would put in people that can afford to be right next to a kind of higher end social entertainment development surrounding it, and put other things within the armory. They had big goals.
Like, it could have been
And
Power and Light.
but like not as really stupid and awful as Power and Light.
The
BPV.
reason that didn't happen though, like just to kind of boil it down, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Just like anything, pre and post COVID, Green Street is a large company,
Yeah.
but like they're not Meta. They don't have infinite flow of cash.
No.
So they had to downsize.
Yeah, and they downsized and they made some okay decisions, but they really
They
did half-ass
we
the
need-
decisions that they
It's
made.
like they needed to make money.
Right. They need to make money. We need some type of cash in our pockets. So now that went under because obviously it was a massive flop. Anybody who went there was like, I probably never want to go back.
But they probably made more money than they would have just selling the building in the first place.
Exactly. And like you can see their vision. You can applaud them for taking a chance, because taking a chance is nobody else did, right? You got to applaud them for taking a chance on something that could have been useful and interesting.
And they did,
And
and they
infill.
did renovate the building.
They renovated the building.
So if this data center doesn't end up going in there and something else does,
But there's like two people in particular, one person. I'm not going to necessarily say who is behind this. I have rumors. I have people that are working on those permits.
Mark Zuckerberg.
David's not going to say.
I'm not going to say.
I'm just speculating.
But if you want to have a metacognitive discussion about this,
A meta
we can have a metacognitive discussion about this.
But David's not going to name names.
But I'm not going to name meta names.
David's not going to make meta names.
That is
David's not going to talk about Mark Zuckerberg.
because Ben Schwartz was just here recently, flushed with cash. They are flushed with cash. And who is not flushed with cash right now, and who will literally do anything to the highest bidder to make sure that he can go to Cabo and Cayman Islands and probably another Epstein Island or something for his own enjoyment.
Lavender Avenue.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
It's just somebody specifically who had associations with
Yellow Boulevard.
with Forest Green Avenue development.
Calle Rojo.
People will do anything for money when they don't have it, and they're like backs up against a wall, and they have become really accustomed to living with lots of money. They will do anything to get back to that way of life. So
Do you really think that's the motivation behind this? I mean, granted, they are in a lot of debt.
they're in a lot of debt. Why
It's
do
a
you think
lot of
Barquet closed? It's because they upped the rent on them like just an obscene amount.
Oh yeah, the like as business owners,
and they
it's
basically
like,
forced them out. And also Barquet wasn't that great of a business venture to begin with.
I
I mean, it
love
was fun.
Barquet.
It was fun. A lot of people had fun.
It's so much land.
It's so much
Yeah, yeah.
land.
Like,
It's not,
that's the crazy
but that's
part.
the thing too. Is like honestly, I would say Barquet is not so dissimilar from our venture at Greenfinch because like it is a business that is like the business use is based around like a niche, a broad niche, but a niche activity. You know, like with Barquet, it's like we need to do like a bar and dog parks. We need like all this space.
Yeah, they're making money on selling food and drinks.
100%. Like they are, you know, they were a solvent business. Like but they are like a high overhead, high usage specific space. Like we have, you know, the theater. Like we rely on independent producers in St. Louis wanting to do stuff to rent that space and bring people through the doors. Like that's our business model, and it works for us because there are so many creative people in St. Louis who are like, I just need a space to do my thing,
Right.
And we try to make it.
And
affordable.
there's a lot of dogs in St. Louis.
So-
and to
So-
be
so-
fair,
to
Barquet was always full.
So to that point is what I'm saying is the comparison I was making between Barquet and Greenfinch is that like we would not be confident.
Oh, shit, 'cause it spells
David,
bark.
No, David, let me finish my thought.
It spells bark.
The the similarity there of being like a pretty space usage, thin margin intensive thing is we would not have been confident in our business plan if we had to rely on renting, leasing that space.
Yeah.
The only reason Greenfinch is possible is because the Small Business Administration slid a piece of paper across the desk saying, "Are you adults? Check yes or no." We checked yes, and they said, "Sure, here's your mortgage."
Yeah. Well, also on just the payment per month. I mean, forget if it's rent or mortgage. Like we've certainly shitted some payments here and there.
Yeah.
You know, like it's been tight.
You know, being a new small business, all that stuff.
But our mortgage payment is peanuts compared to what their rent was at Barquet. Like, this is not the Barquet episode, but like, holy crap, they ran up it was a 6-digit number in rent backlog. And it's how? That's so much rent.
Dogs are expensive.
Yeah, I spent $100,000 on my
It's
dog
a lot
every
of the
day.
insurance policies behind it as well.
But I'm talking about rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
what
the reason the
my
rent
point-
is so high is because,
because
of the insurance on the
yeah,
dogs.
got it, got it.
What
It's high.
I'm saying is like, you know, if one of the contributing factors to Barquet going under was that they didn't have control over their rent rates and their rent rates were going up beyond the level of their ability to pay them because of, you know, what the business was set at, like, yeah, like that's on greedy landlords being greedy landlords.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening all over St. Louis. I mean, Cherokee Street's being decimated by that exact same.
By like two
thing.
people, specifically one person. But
But anyway,
so bring this.
So bring it
this-
back to Green Street. I mean, bringing it back to
Yes.
Calle Verde.
Bringing it back to all of your problems all of our problems that we have these boisterous discussions about that take up brain space and make you angry, and boil it down to the fact that greedy, wealthy people then make other greedier, wealthier corporations and people come in to save them and make your life a little harder because you have to think about a $600 million development going in and potentially over-saturating and overusing your electric grid and potentially using your water supply, which is built out to, you know, hold for a city of almost 1 million people that has almost like a little under 300,000 people in it. So that's another reason why they like St. Louis as a whole, is because our water supply is greater than, you know, like
We're also
people
at
haven't talked about
the
that.
confluence of 2 major rivers.
Yeah,
I'm sure
but-
that helps.
I am not against the data center. I am against the location.
But
and I think
the problem
all
is
of us
that
are.
that the location owner is being leveraged by an even richer, more
Exactly
powerful
right.
person.
So
Yeah.
it's then taking up our brain power and our decision making and having to use our judgments and people in power at City Hall to take time out of their weeks and months to put into stopping this from happening when it shouldn't happen in the first place and should be going to other things like housing and other developments that are happening in the city limits of St. Louis that are supporting and like actually making really, really good things happen in St. Louis that I don't think people are talking enough about.
There are developments that can directly benefit the people rather than saying like, well, it's gonna, on a kind of trickle down way benefit the people, which we know from 40 years of experience, trickle down doesn't work.
I thought businesses don't want to be in St. Louis.
Fun fact.
Yeah, David, tell us about all the businesses that don't want to be in St. Louis.
So we can talk about the bigger projects that are kind of in limbo that would have a great large effect on commerce in St. Louis.
What's getting built? What's getting built other than this data center? Things
that are kind of in limbo and in the process right now. The one that is closest to coming to fruition is the Timber Tower, the 314 that's happening in downtown West, close to the stadium.
Is that the Jefferson and Market?
Like Locust, yeah.
Is Jefferson Locust, Jefferson Market? There's a big ass hole in the ground that's been there for a while.
No, that
Jefferson
one.
Market.
That was supposed to be
Kimpton or whatever.
Hotel Kimpton, yeah.
Is it still going to happen?
Probably not, but yes and no. That's one of the yes and no's.
Gotcha.
This one is very likely to happen, the Timber Tower. And then the $680 million Cordish development to replace the Millennium Hotel site. That's going to be like a 44-story tower and like a 14-story tower.
With a big public space.
But it's supposed to have 20 years of tax abatement at like 90%, which I am vehemently against.
We've talked about that.
And which is just annoying. But Gateway South is a $2 billion development that's been in limbo for quite some time from Good Development Company, whom... This is the project I think can have one of the most important impacts on St. Louis because it combines commerce and the fact that we are the largest inlet. What's the word I'm looking for? Bay.
Bay.
What's the? I can't. My brain is
development
cargo.
Bay.
It's the shipment.
Port.
Port. The word I was looking for was port. Oh, God almighty.
4 letters is a lot to come up with.
Yeah. It's okay. My mind's on a lot of other things.
I mean, we saw during the pledge how much
I got water in my basement. I'm trying to figure out.
And that's not a euphemism.
That. No, it's St. Louis, man.
You did say you had to pee.
Everybody has water in their basement. That's how this works. Things that are in development right now or have been developed and recently developed, nearing completion, etc. I'm just gonna name them off. You sound off which is your favorite, but. These are literally just like 10%. These are the front-facing, a lot of people know about these, that are going to have, right now, we have $1.1 billion of permits pulled thus far in 2025, and we are on pace to set an all-time record in permits pulled money-wise in St. Louis history in the city of St. Louis. We're on pace.
Wow.
It's incredible. Okay. The Albion in Central West End, the Lugosian at 2300 LaSalle, the Melbourne Hotel in Midtown, Brickline Greenway, the Kings Highway narrowing, the Tower Grove connector, all of that.
Woo.
The world-class 140-plus Symphony redevelopment and hall and just
opening
obscene,
this weekend.
The second oldest symphony in America. The Jefferson Arms Building development that's opening this fall. In just like a couple months here, the Children's Hospital development that's going on, the Marshall, the Sovereign, the former Mount Olive Church in Shaw that's going to be 1820 apartments, 3221 Olive, 211 North Merrimack, Forsythia on the Park, Local on Delmar, which is like 300 units, the C2N Diagnostics Building to study Alzheimer's research, drugs, and next to the Senior Independence Center, the Tower Grove and Vista apartments going up, loads of brick homes, just a shit ton of brick homes being developed and renovated right now with permits pulled most in over a decade. The Clinton Peabody updates, which is the housing development south of Choteau that really, really, really needs to be redeveloped.
It's stalled for
with
a while,
Section
but
8 housing and all that.
It's back underway, right?
Yes,
I saw people working on it the other day.
The Grandview Arcade along South Grand being turned into 52 new affordable units called the Marquette Homes. Loads and loads of Midtown Alley apartments and redevelopments and Locusts and Olive renovations. The AHM on Arsenal and Minnesota townhomes, and every single renovation on the Landing that you don't know about. This is just like 10% of what's happening right now. And to say that you think St. Louis is in a doom loop, downtown especially, you don't know what you're talking about, my friends.
I do want to call something out.
Yes. Oh, what? Did I say something that deserves a
No,
ding?
no. But you're about to.
I'm about-
but not for any fault of your own.
Do you want me to say so? I'm really good at it. I'm from Lake St. Louis.
How many of these developments are on the north side?
I'd say like in terms of actual ones being developed,
Of the ones you just listed.
about like 4 or 5 of those.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say 0.
And a lot of those are actually in areas that are also lower income.
Okay.
I'd say about half of those
Well, I mean,
being listed are like lower income.
Are they like
Areas.
And you know.
No, mind you, that can also be looked at as gentrification.
Whatever. Yeah.
But a lot of these are affordable housing developments.
That's great. That is cool. And it's
And
like,
market rate housing, which, by the way, market rate housing, not luxury, affordable, fake, faux luxury housing, is good. Market rate housing is what stimulates your economy.
Yeah.
All right? You need it.
I'd love to hear what people in the neighborhood that these developments are happening, especially on the north side, think about it.
Yeah.
Not to mention the $2 billion plus
I have
NGA site that's pretty much open.
pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
The I've heard, from friends that live in north side and other communities like it around the country, that gentrification's a word that white people throw around.
Yeah.
It's but I would love to hear what people think about those developments who live in those areas. Because I'm not informed in that way.
The ones that are the most exciting are the ones that are the connector pieces, like 7th Street connector, the Tower Grove connector, the Brick Line
I mean, these aren't
Greenway.
businesses either. These are city projects, but
Yeah, but they're still development.
It's super
right?
cool,
it's
though,
just
yeah.
as important, if not more important.
And Kings
Literally.
Highway is one of those examples of the
narrowing, my God,
it's great.
Can we talk about how
don't have time,
visually
but yeah.
and aesthetically appealing?
It's
Kings
one of those
Highway
things.
is right
Speaking
now?
of development,
South
it's
Kings
one of those
Highway?
things that so everybody always talks about why are the highways always under construction?
Yeah,
Always, forever. That's forever construction. It's because in other countries they have the balls to shut stuff down for an amount of time where, like Germany, for instance, the Deutsche Bahn's always been like this notoriously, breaks down, bad rails. It's a pretty unreliable train.
yeah.
They shut down huge swaths of the system all at once and fixed it.
But don't go look up Stuttgart's Hauptbahnhof. My God, it's been under construction for literally a quarter century.
That's crazy. Well, that's not part of what I was talking about.
Anyway.
This is the rail construction. But in America, we do a lane at a time, so people don't get mad. And it's this is Kings Highway is one of those examples of they shut it all down pretty much, but they did it really quick.
Yeah.
We got to wrap it up here. But Powell Hall
Yes.
is a great example of a lot of people are going to complain while stuff's going on. A lot of people are going to complain about development.
But now that it's done, everyone's excited.
But when it's done, everybody's excited. This is the way things go.
Speaking of things being done,
This has been.
We do need to wrap it up because our producer really needs us to wrap it up.
Yes. This has been.
Has.
Been.
Overarching.
Overarching.
That was 2 syllables.
Overarching is recorded at Fly North Theatricals here in sunny South City, St. Loogie Magoogie. Our producer is Ashley Brandmeier. Logo designed by JP Burks, a.k.a. Scrub. Follow us on social media at Overarching ST Lewis. And if you're not, attend that conditional use hearing and voice your opinion to like and or subscribe on YouTube. And I'm Colin.
I'm David.
I'm a data center.
Beep boop bop.